Good morning. Hope you're all having a great start to your day. Today's Friday, July 9th, 2021. We're going to go ahead and get started, touch up on the overall market, go over some economic data, and get right into our main watch list. So, hope you guys are starting your day right. Now, it's the end of the week, end of Friday, and again, it's a short week, so don't forget about that. It gets a little choppy when you come at the end of the week. Usually, these Fridays, if you're trading these weeklies on a short week, they tend to move a little bit quicker, especially with data decay. So, make sure if you're trading weeklies, you're giving yourself that ease of mind on trades. We don't have any economic data today. We just have wholesale inventories at 10 a.m. All right. So looking at the data, we're looking real good. Now, if you want to touch up at any point on more regarding the news or regarding the economic calendar, don't forget we do have a bot command. You could go ahead and put the exclamation mark Fed, and you could see the rest of the economic calendar. It makes it a lot easier, and it's right then and there in your Discord. So you can go ahead and set that up if you ever want to look at the economic calendar. Now, hope you guys are starting your day right. We're watching /Eissa into this morning. Now, if you did see the overnight session, we actually did see a major liquidation. The European session started trading on the downside. We did see some weakness, and we actually started ranging between that 43.35 and 43.05 range. So if you're looking for more directional moves on the market, take your time today, especially seeing where /ES is making a massive move in the overnight session, almost back to revisit that 43.35. So really, really critical to watch as we retest those primary supports. Not jump the gun. All right, take your time, especially on entry. And if you're watching that /ES into this morning, give yourself that ease of mind. Watch that 43.01. Right, 43.01 will be the primary support. As you guys saw yesterday, we were watching multiple things at 43.10. When we broke out of 43.10, we started seeing 20 handles to the upside. And the moment we came under that 4,300, we started seeing some weakness to 4,280. So we'll be taking our time on the market. If you start watching the downside back under 4,300, we're going to go back to our favorite level. And we'll retest that 4,280 and potentially 4,270. So almost 30 handles to the downside. If we can rally and close that 43.01, as we're retesting right now, we're 29 handles over, looking to come back and retest. As we retest that 43.01, we'll start looking for an overall bounce on the market. All right, so that's actually ideal in regards to the market. If we come to 43.01 and start bouncing, look for the upside, right? So overhead resistance, the moment we take out 43.40, we'll be watching 8 handles to 43.48 and then room to 43.60. All right, so take your time, and we've actually came somewhat close to 43.60, about 7 handles away on the 7th of July, and actually rejected at 43.53. So we're bound to come back and retest as well. All right, so take your time. Now let's get into our watch list. I love Fridays because, again, you can start watching these high premium names. If you've made good profits for the week, you can start trading weeklies. If you haven't traded this week or you haven't made enough profits, definitely remember risk reward at all times. Don't go trading weekly starting off the week. It gets a little draining. But let's go ahead and touch up on some Tesla. I'm going to send you guys the levels. We'll be watching that 660 as an overhead resistance. We'll be watching support at 652. Okay, so take your time on Tesla. We did actually start seeing some news. I'm going to send it to you guys while you start charting up and lining up those levels. But if you're watching that 660, gets a little critical. I've been seeing actually notional value about 261 million. Let me send you guys the print as well so you can see what I'm seeing here. And I will go ahead and move more in depth. But if you've been seeing the range at 652.80, we're actually getting 400,000 in size, about 261 million in notional value, showcasing that there's a lot of premium at that range, right? When you see everything else ranging at 9 mil, 65 mil, and 12 mil, and this range has about 261 mil. So that shows you that 652 level is very, very critical. Take your time if you're watching Tesla. This can be a huge momentum run if we actually can close over that 652 and bounce. And that's right now, we're actually about 3 points over. We're at 655. So ideal entry on this is the bounce at 652. And you can see why 652 is a huge level. If you're watching 652.80 to be exact, or 653, give yourself that point extra as well. And we'll be watching the whole number in case we actually can't hold 652. We're never biased, right? So if we can't hold 652, we'll start looking for 5-point scalp to the downside and revisiting the levels from yesterday. But just seeing how we're already gapping to the upside looks real good. And also, we do have another piece here. Let me send you another catalyst on Tesla. All right. Now, if you've seen into this morning, they're actually raising the price of their long-range Model S and X by about $5,000. It showcases that demand is increasing on the cars as well. and there's no other reason you'd raise the price, right? So it makes sense. And again, after delays, you can see Tesla started shipping its plate and long range Model S last month. You could go ahead and read the rest of the news. And if you want to be able to access this news, feel free to sign up for a 7-day free trial. It's very easy. You'll be able to access all the links and all the sources for Tesla and beyond Tesla. But let's get more in depth. Now, I want to show you one more thing regarding Tesla before we kind of move on. I want to speak about that 336 million in notional value print. This is also a DP print. If you notice the time, this started coming in towards the end of the day, right? So we started seeing prints at 130.26. All right, they sized about 200K at 651, and then you start seeing that we saw 100K at 651.97, about $65 million at that range, right? So again, this is something that I wanted to point out for you guys. When you start seeing a huge notional value, almost 336 million towards the end of day on these dark pool prints, right? So this could be a huge catalyst for some Tesla. Now let's move on to our second watch. And again, I'm actually going to be focusing on these two companies. I'm going to be focusing on Amazon and Tesla at the open, just so I'll be watching less on days like this. I'll be looking to scalp some momentum. So really critical to watch less and focus on entries. Now, if you're watching Amazon really at a range, you can see that 10-point range between 37.40 and 37.30. Not biased on Amazon, just seeing the massive exhaustion move that it had, especially specifically yesterday from 36.30 bounded, almost moved, give or take, about 100 points to the upside. Now 100 points plus. Now seeing where it is right now in the pre-market session, ideal entry is always a bounce, especially after a massive move. I'll start watching for 37.15 and 37.30. You guys can see 37.30 broke already in the pre-market session, which is totally fine. I'll still be watching 37.15. I was willing to take that 15-point scalp to the downside, but again, it already happened about 9 points under. So if you're watching that 37.13, has room to 37.15 and 3700, I'll be looking for a bounce trade at both range. So 37.15, love to see a bounce at that level. Saw some rejection yesterday and was watching that level midday around 12:55, 1 o'clock. And you can see some rejection as Amazon was actually retesting that level. Confirmation continuation, closed over that 37.15. And you can see the mega rally that actually occurred on it. So fantastic trade yesterday. If you caught the Amazon momentum, again, trend was right there. The trend is your friend until it's broken. And again, just seeing those higher highs and higher lows develop, and order flow is very bullish. And the tape was just telling the story. And if you saw what happened with Amazon, huge momentum on this. So again, not really trading this out of FOMO, but trading this out of these levels that we do have in terms of supply and demand. And you can see we'll start watching 37.30 right now as an overhead resistance. So our primary support, which was 37.30, is now going to be our overhead resistance. And if we can close over 37.30, there's a distribution range back to 37.40. Usually the distribution range, you can play the bounce trade. It's very ideal. So for some people to wait for 37.15, play the distribution range back to 37.30, lock in half position, and then wait for the confirmation continuation over 37.30 for probably another 10 points to 37.40. And don't get greedy with trades like that, because if you do trade the distribution, it can get a little draining between 37.30 and 37.40, just seeing that range and understanding it's a consolidation range, right? So take your time on Amazon. If you guys can see the overhead resistance, if we start taking out 37.40, the range starts getting better. We have a 10-point scalp, and then 37.80, and potentially we'll go back. We'll go right into the $3,800 club. And we've been seeing a lot of size coming in on Amazon. Speculation, like again, on the price for 4,000. We've been seeing a lot of out-of-the-money contracts being bought, especially if you've been watching yesterday towards the close. They started sizing on these $4,000 contracts, especially August 20th and moving into July 16th. So we did see a move on these contracts. But again, I want to see more of today, especially order flow. I'll be watching Tesla at the open. That's mainly my primary watch. Again, if this presents itself, we're not biased, but if this presents itself for a bounce trade, absolutely. And again, watching 652 and 660, take your time. And again, as a side watch, we'll start watching Boeing. This is going to be more for the traders on voice. I'm not going to actually put this down in terms of the trading floor, just so we don't actually have a lot of things on watch. We're focused on less. But into the second half of the day, if Boeing can rally over 240, there's a 5-point gain. Okay, so this is kind of it's going to be left there for the people on voice or seasoned traders. If you can confirm and close 240 on BA, this is actually a prior key level on Boeing, and you can easily rally that 240. And we've been seeing Boeing actually do that prior. So this range is known. Again, the key is to confirm the 240. We'll be watching order flow in the tape, but we can really catch a directional move on this. If you saw yesterday, starting to speculate on the 737 flying back in China. And again, if you knew what happened with the 737, the plane was grounded due to the MCAT software. Back about 2 years ago, MCAT software caused two accidents, Ethiopian Airlines and Leone Airlines. Not the best. I mean, accidents were very bad, but they've been grounding the 737 MAX since, and they've actually updated the MCAT software, which is that software that has to do with landing, positioning the aircraft and landing the aircraft. So that kind of was an issue. They actually eliminated more sensors and whatnot for the aviation people in the room. We're not going to drain you with that, but let's have a fantastic day if you guys are going to be watching the market. Ideal entry, again, the only trade that you don't take is the trade that's not presenting itself. Remember, high probability setups, quality setups at all times. Trust your system. Always cut losses instant. I know a lot of people know this, and especially if the trade idea is invalid. Remember to always cut your losses and ask yourself, what is my risk reward? What is my ratio? Does this trade meet my setup? If it doesn't meet your setup, if it doesn't meet your execution range, do not execute on it. And again, remember, let winners run, especially on momentum runs like Amazon, for example, or trades like that. Lock in half position. Always leave a runner. Hope you guys have a fantastic day. If you guys need me, DM me. And let's make some money, team. All right? In and out, guys. Let's make it happen.